with the NIL, the transfer portal, etc., when basically these guys simply can just chase greener pastures. Like it's a mercenary business from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. You guys got new semester. You got kids every semester across America, football, basketball, college sports in general. It's a mercenary business. We're looking at Coach Prime and Deion Sanders and over at Colorado doing it. Is it harder to teach now because you don't either have the time, you don't have the investment, or are you just out there coaching now and hoping they stay?
I'm a teacher at heart, man. And, adults, the game gave me a chance to stay out of trouble. It gave me a chance to move forward in life. I refuse to sell out who I am just to benefit my salary on the backs of 18-year-olds. I refuse to do that. If I get fired because I don't win enough, but those 18-year-olds figure out a way to find success, I sleep, man. I'll go hustle like I used to figure out a way to pay my bills.
Yeah.
But if I'm making millions and all the guys I coach are sleeping on their mom's couch, I failed, man. I can't sleep. I grew up coaching in the neighborhood I grew up in. I didn't need the media to criticize me. Them dudes would come knock on my door and say, "Yo, man, what you doing?" And so loaded question. I'm gonna give you my cliff notes, and if you want to expand on it, we'll go. All right. As a kid, man, the education part and the NIL, where am I at with this? As a kid, the dudes that ran the streets, they did what they had to do. They made sure us young bucks listen to our parents, listen to our teachers, listen to our coaches, stay out of trouble. Now, once you were done, if you weren't about college and all that, then they say, "I'm sorry, I missed the camera." Then they'd say, "Come here. Now we got to figure out if you're man enough to live this life." And it is what it is. But they didn't interfere before you got through that stage in life. And then as a school teacher, which is what pushed me out of school teaching, because I still lived in the neighborhood. I coached at the school I attended. I knew all the dudes. They started putting money in the pockets of the 15-year-olds to help them run their business because they just get tapped on the wrist. They don't get slammed like the 25-year-olds. And now those 15-year-olds are sitting in my classroom saying, "Man, coach, I can rock with you, man, but I ain't down with this math." And they pull out a wad of cash out of their pocket. And they'd be like, "I got this thing going, man. Why? I don't need to learn this math. I got this, figured out." That flipped education. Well, I use that analogy because that's what's happening with NIL right now. The worst run industry in our country is the airline industry. Why? Because you pay that full bill before the services. Here's the thing that gets me about the airline industry. You pay your part. They don't say you pay 50. You pay the whole thing.
Yeah.
They screw up and you ask for their help and they cop an attitude.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing, man?
Right.
Now, if you screw up, they don't give you a penny back. And that's so what are we doing with NIL? Which I fought for NIL, man. I like this. This was prehistoric what we were doing, man. I understand. I come from it, man. I understand. I fought for it behind the scenes. The problem is that when you're giving an 18-year-old X number of dollars before he does the work, he becomes the airline industry. And at 18, as much as I thought I knew, man, I didn't know shit. And I needed those people that helped me understand. And so that's, sorry for the long answer.
No, that's perfect.
That's my life, what I've learned in coaching and teaching compared to the moment that we're in right now. And it's trying to figure that one out that's made it really hard.
So, Coach, I mean, beautiful answer right there. I love the analogy and breaking it down, comparing it to the airline. From your perspective, then, like, what's the solution then? I mean, like you said, you're an advocate of NIL. You come from it. You didn't come from much, so you want players to be able to get paid for their, their name, image, and likeness. But this current system isn't the way to do it. Do you feel like it's a situation where guys have to at least play a season and then determine, how much they actually get paid based upon their performance? Is it like, have you thought this through as far as like what a real solution would look like?
We should have been proactive. And when I say we, I include myself because I'm under the NCAA umbrella.
Yeah.
But us coaches in basketball, we really tried, and they wouldn't listen to us. We should have been proactive on doing it in a way, not control. I hate the word control because nobody controls me. I am contractually obligated to do things a certain way. But nobody controls me, just like nobody. And by the way, who the hell controls JB? Can you help me with that one?
I can't think of a single person.
Yeah, but we live where we live, man. We don't control anybody. And anyone that tries to create control is wrong. But there needs to be structure. There needs to be accountability. We're in education, man. There's a place for education. I don't care. I'm a JUCO guy. I transferred. There needs to be. We needed structure, man. The wild west. That don't work. It don't work on the streets. If you're going to succeed on the streets, you better live in structure. If not, you're in trouble. And that outcome is not getting fired. I think we all understand what that outcome is. Yeah. And it's that genie's out of the bottle. So it got introduced, and it was like, good luck. Well, I used to be against this because my wife, who could not afford to come to UMass, she was an Atlantic 10 champion. She was a record holder in track. Her sport's going to disappear. My daughter's a volleyball player at Duquesne University. Her sport's going to disappear when we make these guys employees. But because Title IX, once you make football and basketball employees, because they're the ones that profit, they're going to unionize. And now you got collective bargaining. And once that enters, scholars like all those other sports, they're in trouble.
Title IX won't exist because you don't have enough number. They don't have enough bodies to compete.
That's why Title IX don't exist, JB, in professional sports, because it's collectively bargained. So it's protected from all that other stuff. And so I never wanted that, but I don't think I don't want to speak. I don't have knowledge of this. This is Frank. By the way, Andy Reid, one of my favorites, because I listen to coaches that are successful, like the crap they say, because those old crusty, like, by the way, hey, JB, everyone loves these new coaches that do push-ups during timeouts. Why is it the old crusty fat guys are the ones that always play in the last game of the season?
Winning.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So Andy Reid had a great line. He went against analytics a couple years ago, and he went for it on 4th and 6. And the analytic guys couldn't believe he did it. Well, they got a first down. And in the post-game press conference, they said, Coach, analytics said you shouldn't do that. Like, how do you, like, he said, well, I don't really coach with analytics. I coach through my gut. And I don't know if you pay attention. I got a lot of gut. I'm like, I love this guy.
Balls over brains sometimes is a real thing. I got to ask you, though, your good friend, I'm sure, I know him pretty well as well. Rick Pitino came out in the news, is hot and heavy, and basically saying that this is one of his least competitive teams. Zero edge, no toughness. He came out and dropped them like you were just talking, Andy Reid did. It's becoming more and more prevalent. Have you seen an uproar because of the AAU movement, the 7-on-7 in football? Are soft parents creating this and making this so hard for you guys that these are future recruits that you are going to eventually have to sign? Are you seeing it at this lower level? And I'm missing the coaching aspect and the teaching aspect of this thing at the youth level. I don't see it at all. And I see high school coaches allowing it more than coaching it. And I even see it in college in the football side. Probably less prevalent with you. You got 11, 15 kids. Football, you got 60, 80, 100. You're rotating 30 a semester. Are you seeing this becoming something new? I'm pulling teeth to get you to go hard and work hard when it requires zero talent to give effort.
Yeah, the biggest change, and I think football's starting to live it a little bit because of the introduction of 7-on-7. Yeah. Because let's be honest, man. If the guys that look like me don't move the guys that look like Goliath on the line of scrimmage, and you can't run the ball inside the tackles, you're not winning. I don't care what candy-ass stuff you run. Yeah. You're not winning. You better win that battle between them tackles. If not, you're not going to win. And I hear all this stuff about sideways. Come on, man. Like what defensive coordinator doesn't want people to play sideways? Like
Spagnuolo.
When I'm watching film, in basketball, if all you do shoot threes, I'm like, all right, we got a chance. When you play at the rim, I'm like, all right, how the hell we guarding this? And it's the same way in football. Like, if you can overpower me in the middle of the field, then we're going to beat you sideways. But if you just run sideways, we're going to track you down, and we don't care about the middle of the field. And that's where it's won and lost at. And but the biggest, I love football.
That's why we get along.
My bad. I started talking football. I shouldn't be talking.
Oh no, shit.
Oh, football, hey,
talk
we
about
love that.
You get me on football, man. I hung out with football coaches my whole life, but here's the hardest thing. JB and you and I've talked about this back from the Artesia days, Miami senior days. We used to have one AAU tournament. And AAU ain't bad, man. AAU gives kids an opportunity to say, holy cow, it's okay to go to school in Ohio if I'm an inner city Miami kid. Like, I met those dudes from Ohio. They're cool as shit. It's AAU's fine. I am not anti-AAU. What we've lost is practice, because now AAU teams don't practice. Majority of them. They practice 3 times to play 9 games on a weekend. And at the end of the weekend, everybody goes back to where they're from, and by the end of the weekend, they can't get along, but they go back to wherever they're from, and then they reconvene in 6 weeks, and they all get along again because they ain't been around each other. Back in the day where we stayed at one high school, and bro, you had to figure out a way to get along with dudes because you lived in the neighborhood. Yeah. You had to ride the bus with them. You had to go to lunch with them. You had to walk the halls with them. If not, you're going to be like button heads 24 hours a day. Yeah. And so you figured out a way to coexist and then win for who you practice for. We've lost that. Now there's always another pair of shoes, another AAU tournament, whether you win or lose. That's what we got to figure out, man. We got to, there has to be consequences for losing and reward for winning. Not just how many likes I got on social media because I dropped a video of me dunking a ball in layup lines. Like we've lost that edge to compete because everything is about showcasing an individual skill in a non-competitive environment. And that's where analytics and me get sideways. If I was the quarterback on your team, JB, analytics on defense are going to look pretty damn good. If Tom Brady's the quarterback, analytics ain't going to look real good defensively. And so you don't control the human being in front of you. Like someone said the other day, good luck blocking Aaron Donald in your analytics. It's a little different than blocking, the JV guy that just got promoted to the varsity team. It's true. It's a different world, man. That world of analytics. That's what I blame, because the world of analytics was created for one reason: fantasy sports. Fantasy sports ain't real, man. Analytics was created for fantasy sports. Fantasy sports is a game to gamble. What we all do is a game to win, not gamble. And whether you win or lose, you got to go deal with it the next day.